you want to sit with us?
These girls are so cool.
We can't let her know we're excited.
I got this.
When Inside Out first premiered in 2015, viewers were thrilled with how an animated film discussed complex issues, emotions, and how hard growing up can be. The story included numerous messages about how all emotions have a purpose and that even negative ones, like sadness, should have a place when making decisions and processing changes in life. At the time, there weren't many children's films discussing the difficulties of growing up, especially the impact it causes emotionally. To this day, people still reference Inside Out for its commentary on mental health. Recently, the trailer for Inside Out 2 premiered, introducing 4 new emotions into Riley's life that will significantly change how she interacts with the world. In today's video, we're using evidence from the trailer to determine how these new emotions could overpower Riley's core emotions.
Joy, I'm just curious, maybe I could
Thank you,
help?
not now.
Yeah.
Number 1. Repression. One of the primary conflicts in the first Inside Out was the complicated working relationship between Joy and Sadness. Due to Riley being an overall happy person, Joy believed she could handle any situation, placing pressure on Riley to smile and laugh when her home life became stressful. In doing so, she inadvertently suppresses Sadness, preventing her from using the control panel, voicing her opinion, or managing her core emotions. There's a scene where Joy outlines a circle on the floor and tells Sadness to stand within it. While the scene feels like a joke, it's also a visual interpretation of Sadness becoming repressed. In the new trailer, Anxiety claims the core 5 aren't what Riley needs to help her deal with her life changes. She then forces Joy and the others into a jar, preventing them from interfering with Riley's choices. Instead of framing the situation as a joke, it's clear the core 5 are aware of how terrible their circumstances are. Fear refers to them as repressed emotions before they begin pounding on the glass, desperate to escape. We know from the first film that losing an emotion can have negative repercussions. Without Joy and Sadness, Riley struggled to cope with her move to San Francisco. Overcome with grief for her childhood home, Riley decides to run away from home due to her overwhelming anger, fear, and disgust. Since Riley will lose Joy, Sadness, and the other emotions in the sequel, she will likely become overwhelmed by those who remain, making anxiety the primary emotion influencing her decisions.
Nice one, Joy.
I like that time with the dinosaur. That was pretty funny.
Number 2. Overriding the control panel. A core component of how the emotions interact and communicate with Riley is through the control panel in their headquarters. They can use the control panel for numerous things, including making decisions, making dialogue choices, and presenting Riley with new ideas. Throughout the first film, Joy managed the control panel with near exclusivity, allowing the other emotions to make decisions when she thought they could help. It's not until the film's end that Sadness receives permission to use the control panel, successfully correcting the damage caused by the other emotions. After learning to accept and accommodate all emotions, Joy and the others learned to use the control panel as a team. During the epilogue sequence, mind workers arrived to do maintenance on the control panel, making it larger, giving it more functions, and including a button labeled Puberty. The additional controls and reference to puberty foreshadow the second film, where Riley's teenage years invite in new emotions called anxiety, envy, embarrassment, and ennui. While the larger panel was likely to accommodate all 9 of Riley's emotions, it seems that Anxiety believes otherwise. When approached by a new character, someone Riley meets in high school, Anxiety attempts to step in to coordinate the interaction. However, Joy prevents her from doing so, causing Riley to communicate in a goofy way, something Anxiety perceived as embarrassing and haunting. Due to Joy's unwillingness to give Anxiety more control, the new emotions may band together to override the control panel, keeping Joy from making any significant decisions.
Glad to have her on our team. Our little girl's growing up so fast. Ow. Sorry.
Number 3. Intense emotional responses. Everyone has experienced an intense emotional response. One emotion can become so extreme that it prevents someone from rational thought or listening to other emotions entirely. In Riley's experience, without Joy and Sadness, she becomes overwhelmed by anger due to her current situation. There's a scene from Inside Out when Riley has dinner with her family, but because they continue to pry about her day, she can't help lashing out and responding in anger. Anger also encourages her to lash out at her childhood friend when she feels replaced and to run away when she becomes homesick. From the sequel's trailer, it seems like Riley will experience more intense emotional responses. Nearing high school, Riley becomes desperate to make new friends and fit in with a new crowd. These types of pressures often cause social anxiety in teenagers, making Riley hyper-aware of everything she says and does. Without Joy there to guide her, who usually helps her remain unapologetic about who she is, Riley could quickly become overwhelmed. There's a scene where Mrs. Anderson wakes Riley in the morning, asking why she hasn't packed for a trip yet. Riley's response is increasingly emotional, claiming she's the worst before nearly divulging into tears. There are also scenes in the trailer where the control panel in headquarters is solely Anxiety's color orange, indicating that the emotion has complete and utter control of everything Riley may feel.
Riley, what's wrong?
I'm too gross to go to camp or anywhere ever again!
Number 4. Forcing Joy out from HQ. Since the trailer shows the Core 5 repressed and trapped within a jar, we know Anxiety has the power to remove them from headquarters entirely. In the first film, Joy and Sadness find them marooned from HQ after accidentally sending themselves with core memories into Riley's mind. On their journey back home, we see numerous locations, including the Long-Term Memory, Imagination Land, and Dream Productions. Although Riley's emotions don't live in these locations, they're all responsible for managing Riley's thoughts and memories. Joy, sadness, and the remaining core emotions become lost in Riley's mind in the sequel. The trailer showcases them trying to find their way home, moving through long-term memory and communicating with mind workers. However, the longer the emotions are away from headquarters, the more damage it can cause in Riley's psyche. For example, one of Riley's islands of personality includes Goofball Island, which requires Joy to operate. Without Joy, Riley will struggle to have fun, causing Goofball Island to shut down entirely. In removing Riley's core emotions from headquarters, Anxiety would give herself and her friends complete control over how Riley operates. They could easily allow some facets of Riley's personality to shut down and create new ones to replace them. Since Joy and the others remain far from home, they'll have no way of regaining control until they complete the journey to headquarters. Unfortunately, they may return to unchangeable damages.
We lost Goofball Island. That means she can lose friendship and hockey and honesty and family?
Number 5. Fundamentally changing Riley. Continuing the concept of removing Riley's core emotions from headquarters, Anxiety and her friends could take over by fundamentally changing Riley. We know this is possible because in the epilogue of the first film, Joy introduces the concept of the new islands of personality. As Riley grows and changes, so will her personality, which influences how she engages with the world. In the same way, Riley has a goofball island powered by her happiness and sense of humor. She could develop an island of anxiety, fueled by moments where she feels increasingly nervous. The trailer confirms that changing Riley will become Anxiety's plan throughout the film. There's a scene where Anxiety appears on a screen before a room of mind workers, each frantically attempting to follow her commands. She claims they're working on Operation New Riley, which sounds like they're changing her behavior, personality, or preferences. Many people can relate to how hard it is to join new friend groups or to start new schools. From dialogue in the trailer, it seems like Riley is desperate to make new friends, so she won't be alone once she starts high school the following year. But to do so, Riley believes she has to adapt herself to fit into a new social circle. There's a scene where her old friends look disappointed to see her pulling away from them, and that inner struggle in Riley may become the story's primary conflict.
Let Operation New Riley begin.
Come on, Riley needs us.
Like Riley's core emotions, the new ones arriving in Inside Out 2 will have an undeniable purpose. Throughout their lives, everyone experiences anxiety, envy, and embarrassment. Like how Riley learned to embrace and accept sadness in the first film, she must do the same with these emotions, but not at the expense of losing her expression of joy or sense of self. Unfortunately, the trailer makes it seem like these new emotions believe they know what's best for Riley, forcing her to change her behavior to accommodate them. These changes will cause conflicts in the sequel and create many challenges for Riley and her core emotions to overcome.
That's ennui.
On what?
It's what you would call the boredom.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on our uploads.
They love us.
Yeah, Mom and Dad are pretty cool.
Guys, of course they are.